Remember Megan Hall, the female police officer who had an affair with several co-workers? Well, she was just paid a handsome settlement. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today I bring you an update on Megan Hall, the female police officer who was involved in a department-wide sex scandal that included several other officers and the police chief. Now, after this whole thing happened and it went viral last year, she was fired. Not just her, but 4 other cops and the chief, all fired. She decided to sue the city and 3 of the cops. And she has been rewarded handsomely by the city of Laverne, Tennessee, which is not far from Nashville. Although the city does not admit any guilt, she has been given 500,000 U.S. American cold hard cash dollars in her pocket as a settlement. Now, to me, it's kind of crazy because I think she knew full well what she was doing. If you're competent enough to be an officer, you are competent enough to get involved in consensual relationships. As far as I know, there are no criminal allegations, no assault or any kind of charges like that. We're talking about, oh, well, they kept asking me, so I went ahead and gave in, all this, that, and the third. And the whole time she was married to a man. Does she have any kids? I'm not really sure, but she's married to a man. I'm not sure if she's still married, if he hung in there. I don't really know, but it's pretty crazy to have an affair with this many guys, to take pictures and videos and everything else, and you get paid. But hey, it is what it is. Now, before I go any further, let's get into the actual news clip. If you want to see the clip in full without my commentary, link as always will be in the description. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Thank you, Katie. You may remember the eyebrow-raising sex scandal that rocked the Laverne Police Department. We first told you about the mess in January of last year. The shocking details sounded like a bad movie script, made national news, as 5 officers and then the police chief all fired. The city then found itself facing a lawsuit filed by a former female officer.
So it was a total of 6 people involved, including Megan. So aside from Megan, there were 4 officers fired and the police chief as a result of all this.
Well, tonight word comes the city has settled the case with a hefty payment. Our Nikki Hauser heard directly from city leaders.
After that scandal, former police officer Megan Hall sued the city. Then tonight, over a year later, the city of Laverne held a special meeting in which they decided they would pay out Megan Hall $500,000, officially ending that lawsuit.
Motion to approve as it is written here.
My question would be, was this settlement just to get it out the way because it's going to be a long process, it's going to be embarrassing, you're going to be in the news? Like, what was the science? What was the logic and the thought process behind the settlement?
It took less than 5 minutes.
No.
Alderman Hobbs?
Aye.
Alderman Hobbs?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Dunn?
Aye.
Motion passes.
For the Laverne city leaders to say yes, they'll pay former police officer Megan Hall $500,000.
What message does that send to all the other employees?
Alderman Dennis Waldron was the only dissenting vote.
He's sending a message out to everybody in the world, said, come to Laverne, sue Laverne because they're going to settle.
The city as a whole now agreeing to pay Hall, but denying any admission of liability.
It's hard being in the minority.
This after the story of the Laverne police sex scandal exploded early last year, revealing a pattern of inappropriate activity inside the department. Reports detail sex between officers on duty and on city property, intimate photos and videos shared.
They were doing a whole lot. They were doing way too much. I think that all the officers involved deserve to get fired for what they were doing, because you're talking about you're doing stuff on the clock. Like, it's not a matter of, okay, you guys are off duty and you're going to somebody's house or it's a party or something like that. No. We're talking about on the clock, in the car, trading pictures. I think the chief might have had pictures of her. Obviously, you can't do stuff like that. Okay. I was on my live stream and somebody was asking me, hey, there's a girl at my job and she likes me a lot. Should I pursue it? I'm like, look, man, you got to be very, very, very careful about that. if you're going to pursue somebody, make it be serious. Don't let it be some kind of one night stand type situation. You want to really make sure that you're serious with somebody at work, because if you're not, that can go really bad for you. That can damage your career, and also it could damage a lot of other things. But let's keep on going.
Among officers and silence from the police chief, who was clued into what was happening.
Convince her to engage in sexual activity that she didn't want to.
Hall and her lawyer claim it was a hostile work environment that groomed her.
While I was aspiring to protect my community, the Laverne Police Department was not protecting me.
But look, though, here's something, and these are all the guys. You can see she had a type, obviously, but different story. And her husband is a white guy, but I'm just putting it out there just so we understand what's going on. But if you're an officer, you are in the position to, you have people that can help you right there. Okay, you can go to superiors. You can do things to get out of the situation to protect yourself. And again, there's no allegations of any kind of criminal activity. There's nobody being charged with assault and nobody facing jail time over this. This is just her suing the city because, I don't know, maybe the lawyer suggested it. Maybe she wanted to do it, whatever it is. But you have recourse here rather than just saying, oh, they convinced me, so I had to do it. You're married at a certain point. It don't matter how much somebody asks you to do something. You don't have to do it. And if you feel uncomfortable, you don't want to be in a situation, you need to report it to a higher authority or just leave. You could leave and then say, okay, it was a hostile work environment and still sue, rather than participating, getting fired, and then suing.
Along with 4 other officers and the police chief were fired. Hall talked to News Channel 5 about the affair early last year.
I know what most people are saying. You know, you could have said no. I get it. But
so do we admit that? Like, what's the but here? You say you get it, but what?
my response to them is that I did say no, and he wouldn't take it for an answer.
Look, if somebody says no and the person is refusing to answer and they go forward, now we're talking about something else. Now we're talking about assault, but there's no accusation of that here. So if it's assault, then we're talking about a whole different conversation. But that's not what's being alleged. All she's saying is that they just were persistent and I gave in. And again, if that's going on, look, the first time somebody hits you up with something like that, you can go straight to HR, whatever you got to do. Or say, hey, nah, I'm not with it. And if they keep on going, now, okay, let's go to a higher authority. That should have been what happened.
Eventually, I gave in from pressure.
Wednesday's vote ends both Hall's lawsuit against the city and against 3 of her former superiors in the department.
We have improved a lot.
As the city still works to rebuild trust in the public eye. Nikki Hauser, News Channel 5.
Thank you, Nikki. The city says their insurance provider will pay the $500,000 to Hall. They say it's a gross settlement, including court costs, attorney's fees, and expenses. To be clear, they say it's not taxpayer money, and the city adds that they still deny any admission.
So there we go. So the city says it didn't do anything wrong. The insurance paid out. Yeah. For me, what it sounds like is a cost-cutting measure by Laverne, because to go through a court process and do all that rigmarole, it might be a lot. So, okay, here go $500,000. Let the insurance take care of it. No taxpayer dollars. All right, boom. That's why when they had the decision and it took 5 minutes, is because it was already predetermined. Okay, how much is it going to cost? X amount of money to fight it, go to court, and have the same conclusion that we didn't do anything wrong. Okay, $500,000 right now. It sucks that the system is like that, but it is what it is. Now, as I close, I want to say this. If you're an adult and you're of sound mind to be a police officer, you're not of diminished capability, you're an adult and you're married, then you have the ability to not just give in to pressure. Now, if there's an assault, there's some force going on, that's a whole different conversation. If that happened, then the lawsuit wouldn't even, that you could sue, but then it'd be criminal action after that. But there's no allegation of criminal activity at all. And it just happened. So it wasn't a long time ago with statute of limitations being expired. If someone did something to you like that, assaulted, then you go to the police, get them sent to the penitentiary, big rocks, little rocks, throw them up under the penitentiary. I have no respect for anybody that does that, but that's not what happened here. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on the whole situation with Megan Hall and the settlement? Again, $500,000 US. What can be done to prevent this? As I said before, if you want to have an affair with somebody at work, you just be careful. Married people, leave them alone. If it's like not really serious, kind of casual, leave it alone. If you want to find a love of your life and that's your one and only, and you, okay, that's something else. But y'all, trading pictures with your coworker and she's married and you had her and he had her, and stay away from that because it can and will blow up right in your face. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.